charge you 12 and 4. It sounds great on the front end, but then they got all these fees, and then by the time you go to the settlement table, they got another $2,000 worth of fees on there.
They disclose that to you?
They don't tell you that until the end. That's why knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. The more you know, the more you're able to speak, the more you're able to ask, the better you can have an outcome.
But did you ask them, do you have any admin fee?
I asked up front, I said, I want to know what your total cost is. What is this going to cost me total? Everything. That includes all the points and all your bullshit fees, your process, your documentation fee. I want to know everything that's going to cost me. So one, when I'm doing my numbers, I could plug in the right number to figure out what my NOI is going to be on the back end. What is going to be my true return on the back end? Because you don't want to get yourself in a deal where you got a $50,000 margin and the guy's taking $30,000. You don't want to take a risk for $20,000. It's got to be enough meat on the bones for you to actually do that deal. $150,000 covers, even if you got to pay somebody, let's say $50,000. Let's say on a $150,000 margin, let's say it's going to cost you $65,000 for repairs, right? And let's say it's going to cost you $25,000 with bullshit fees. Okay, but you still got enough meat if you take, what is this? This is 65, 10, that's 90, right? So you still got 60 left. There's enough meat on the bones. But then here, it would be tight. And then here, it's not doable. So you got to know how much meat's on the bone.
So why do they do 12 and 5? Because I don't know. Why do they do 5 points and 12%? So is that 5 points like, because isn't it the same thing?
No, the 12 is your interest rate, 12% interest rate. And then your points are your discount points or your loan origination points. So your points go on a separate line item on the HUD-1, and your interest rate is amortized over 12 months at that 12% interest rate, so 1% a month.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you have to pay monthly payments of that loan?
Well, what they do is when they do the loans, they'll build in 6 months of payments. So in the early example, I went to settlement, I took $51,000 to the table. Within that $51,000, $19,000 was 6 months of payments that they collected up front. So you will not have to pay monthly payments.
You don't have
But
to
you
worry
borrowed
about
that,
the
that was your second that you borrowed.
Yeah, exactly. I brought in a second position guy to bring that money to the table.
Yeah.
And how do you do your letter, when you submit your offers, you use transactional funding letters, or?
No, just a proof of funds letter.
But from who? I mean,
From a
if you're not
lender. From a
using,
lender.
if you're not using a lender though, the way I'm understanding, you're borrowing it.
Yeah, so you call up one of these hard money guys, say, hey, I'm looking to do this work and this is what I'm doing. I need a proof of funds letter to submit with my
We do
contract.
transactional funding too.
Yeah, but that's
They
additional
showed us how to
cost.
do that. No,
Okay,
No.
explain that, what they taught you.
I have to go to that website. There's a website, you find transactional funding, you put in,
They give you a letter
Uh,
certifying that, yes, you're qualified up to $1 million to buy anything cash.
whatever you put in.
But the thing with that is that you have to have already a buyer
in place.
in place
Right.
before they release any money
Right.
to you.
Right.
Or
But
back
it's your
it up
letter
to buy
for
it.
your contract
But
though.
the letter, yes, it's something that any real estate agent can call and it's verified,
They'll
yes.
charge an admin
We
fee,
have that money.
something like that.
Yeah, you don't want, that's.
No, that's one of the things when we were trying to do in DC, I didn't understand very well. Now that you mentioned, it's more, you have to be prepared, have your package ready and just get the property and
Yeah.
submit the deals.
And when you talk to one of these guys and you create a relationship with them, and if you have an actual deal locked up, believe me, they'll give you a letter. Because once they do their numbers, once they look at your statement of work and they look at your construction costs and they look at the ARV and the CMAs, and if it makes, they'll give you a letter. The letter you'll get the letter and then you can submit it. But you got to go ahead and get everything to the point where it makes sense and present it to the right people. Say, look, I need a letter for this. I need it now.
What if you don't have time? What if there's a hot deal like that one we see? Huh?
Well, like you said, you put your bid and then
You
you
need
find the,
You need a letter though with the contract.
But what you want to do, okay, so for that, you want to start calling some of these, like
Yeah.
I could call Walter, and I'll introduce you guys to Walter. And I said, look, these guys were part of a class, this is what they were, and then Walter could get you a letter. So you'll have a letter, and then you submit with your offers.
That's what,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I could call and get a letter from you guys. But the letter has like a expiration, so usually they do a letter for like 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
And it's like a blanket
right.
letter. And the good thing is it's a local offer. Yeah. So, you know, you're a realtor, you get offers from buyers. As you're flipping through the contract, you see some sort of
Thanks.
generic letter, you're gonna throw it out, because it's not gonna, you know, someone's trying to tie up a property, there's a chance it's not gonna go to settlement. Right, so you wanna get a good letter. So, yeah, you get a letter. So. All right?
Yep,
All right, cool.
Good.
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clay, you got any questions? Cameraman?
Give me one more source besides MRS and networking to find deals.
Okay, one more source outside of MRS
Do you
and
know
network.
about ihousedeals.com?
Yeah. These are, a lot of these websites, myhousedeals.com. There's ZBuyers out there, zbuyers.com. You know, but a lot of these websites, I don't know if, it's like they're selling subscriptions. So they're trying to get you to subscribe, they're trying to get him to subscribe, but they're feeding you guys the same data. And plus, like for example, we used zbuyer.com. We paid, I think, $200 a month or something. for
Buyers or buyer?
Z-buyers. But then we found out after using those guys is, so let's say he puts up a house for sale in March. And then it goes out to everybody on that subscription list. So there's 50 people calling him. Let's say he gets his house sold. But that house remains active on that zbuyer.com for like 2 months. So he's still getting phone calls, and he's like, dude, I sold that house 2 months ago.
That's like realtor.com.
So a lot of these websites, it's like they want to say they have all this inventory when they actually don't have current, and then you got all these people, because it's $29 a month, $39 a month, $49 a month, $19 a month. They're collecting fees on the subscriptions.
Yeah, like a gym membership.
Well, my house
Like a
is
gym
nothing-
membership.
Nothing up front, I mean, unless you want the premium.
Let me see here. I wrote down some notes the other day. Okay. Clint asked me a question. I gave him some other websites. But RealtyTrack.com is a real good one. RealtyTrack.
Dates and stuff, but then.
Well, RealtyTrack is actually one of the much better ones because it's updated consistently and it puts you on a path. But you got to get that information. You got to call the homeowner. You got to try to get a hold of the trustee, attorney. You know, you got to see if it's listed. But being a realtor, the good thing about it is you can actually get it as a listing, or you can try to get it as an investment property. So you can wear both hats. And that's the good thing about RealtyTrack. And it gives you the information ahead of time. I mean, you have 90 days, you got 60 days to really work that information. And you got to keep in mind, even though they have a lot of people on those websites and getting the same information, but maybe 10% are really pushing it forward. The other people are just kind of looking at it, because the rule of thumb is, you know, 9 out of 10 people won't do anything. They'll get the knowledge, they'll get the training, they'll get the materials, but they won't execute, right? So if you execute and you actually use these tools and you stay focused, then you'll have a better chance of getting some of the deals. But most people will not execute at all. Might be my other book. But you got to turn it. Then you have the forsaleByOwners.com. That's a big one too, for sale by owners, because you know even the homeowners are trying to sell their property right now, and let it simmer. Let them have a 60-day experience trying to sell it themselves. You know, and then they get frustrated, and then eventually they want to say, look, just take it over, just handle it. So we use something called the Red X, the redx.com. you get expired listings, you get for sale by owner listings. But you got, you know, it's subscription based and you got to call and it updates every single day. It's a much better tool because it allows you to control your notes and your documentation and you can set like PG or Arlington or you can set specific areas and criteria with that also. And then we also use, like we have bandit signs, I'll put out bandit signs. We buy houses,
Yeah.
I put those out. We send out letters to list. We use LexisNexis. We use, what's the other one? Alexa Data?
Alesco.
Alesco Data. AlescoData.com. You could call these folks and be like, hey, I would like a list of,
Buying list.
yeah, I would like a list of people that are landlords that want to get rid of their properties. And you could buy a list of landlords that, and then you could send them little postcards.
That work for you?
Yeah, we send them out, but you gotta be consistent. You can send them out consistently. And so you can start off as low as 250 cards.
Mhm.
And then another 250, another 500. But now you gotta keep in mind, sometimes these cards would go to the homes where they're abandoned. People have already moved out and they've left town. So it's one of those things that can work if you're consistent with it. But also keep in mind that if there's a house that's gone bad, they're also getting 30, 40 of the same letters and postcards from different investors also. So it's, again, taking it a step forward. So once you get the address, you send out the postcard, you send out the letter, then you get their phone number. We use TLO.com. TLO.com, you can put somebody in their system and you can put their name and number and try to get a phone number. And then it might be like 10 Mr. Jones that comes up, but you just gotta keep calling. Say, hey, Mr. Jones, do you own 123 Falls Church? Get them on the phone. They may have moved on to Florida or somewhere else like that. Like, hey, what is your intentions with this property? What would you like to do with this property? You know, and then find out, oh, my mom died or whatever. You know, the more you know about the property, and the key is to get a hold of the owner that was living there and have that conversation with that owner. So
Do not call them, stuff like that.
I don't worry about that. I mean, I'm on 20 of them, but I still get calls all day long. You know, even though you tell them not to call, they keep calling you. You know, but yeah, I mean, you can respect that too. The good thing about the Red X, it will download and it'll tell you that these folks are on the DNC list. So it'll put those folks to the side. But I don't know. I mean, you know, you could call someone, I didn't know you was on the list. So, but it's up to you. It's a moral decision, I guess. You know. So. But all right, was that good, Clay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, everybody. Brickfront Properties and Construction. I'm Sid HAMEED, and please give us a call if you'd like to sign up for one of our new training classes. Take care.